Good morning, everybody. It's Dave Juno, the Meniere's disease warrior. Well, it's morning where I am. Um, if you like what you see, please hit subscribe. Um, so the weekend went okay. Yesterday was weird. I felt off and off balance, and tinnitus was really bad. I wasn't in a full attack though, so that's a good thing. Um, but I wanted to discuss the conversation I had yesterday with a wonderful woman um, who has Meniere's disease. It was a Meniere's related conversation, um, and it was really nice that hopefully I helped her with whatever issue she was having at the time. But she said something to me. She goes, "I love your videos. Your videos are great, and I love how you're always smiling and you're always seems like you're positive and upbeat." And I said, well, I'm not always. I have my moments, few and far between, but I do. But the thing I don't want people thinking is that because you see somebody smiling, and this happens even in Meniere's, people who have Meniere's, and that's the thing, is that people who don't have Meniere's see us and they're like, well, how can you be sick? You look fantastic. Well, I am. And I think sometimes in the Meniere's community, you see somebody smiling a lot or being positive and upbeat, and you think, well, it can't be that bad for them. Or, they're this, that, and the other thing. And it's kind of further from the truth because I do have my moments. I do have my times where, you know, I, I say to my wife, I wish I didn't have this. This sucks. I can't do this. There are times because there were times like when we're having a function, it's hard for me to go to functions. It really is now. All the noise and everything like that. It's like last week, my uncle's funeral. The wakened first and then the funeral service after. And, for 2 hours, it's just, all these people speaking and you're trying to have a conversation and you can't hear and the noise is getting to you. And I end up going in and out. It's just like if I was smoking cigarettes again, going in and out. And it's like just because I need a break from the noise. I can't deal with it. And it's frustrating to not be able to talk to somebody because you can't hear them. Or, when somebody doesn't understand sign or reads lips and things like that. And sure, I mean, there are a few people that I do make exceptions. One was my Aunt Betty, who is 93 years old. She's a soft speaker anyways. So, yeah, and she's 5'9". And yeah, I got on my knees to talk to her because it was easier. And actually, I could hear her perfectly, which was funny. I could hear her perfectly. Everybody else was a mess. I couldn't hear. But it's frustrating. And I do have my moments. And like I said before, there are times I said to my wife, I said, I don't know how much more I can take of this. Because it gets to be awful after a while. And even the most upbeat, positive, smiling Meniere's patient will tell you this. Okay? When I first had Meniere's, I was a train wreck. I'll be honest with you. I was an extreme train wreck. I yelled at everybody. I took it out on the world. I literally did. Because it was so upsetting that I would have to live with this thing that had no cure and was driving me crazy. It was impossible to do my job without calling out sick once or twice or 3 times a month. It was awful, and I yelled at my wife, I yelled at my kids, I yelled and yelled and yelled. I mean, it yelled so much it was to the point where my wife and I almost split up. And I ended up having a very good friend, Gina, who said, I think you need some counseling. I think you need some medication. You are way off. I know you're not like this. And I took her advice and I got the therapy I needed. And that's what I told this person yesterday that this woman I was having a conversation with. I went through about a year and a half of therapy, and it really changed my perspective on things. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It was a process, just like with anything else. And it probably, I went through therapy for a year and a half, but I had to put the work in too. It's not something like, people think you go to therapy, you talk to your therapist and you feel better and you move on. No, you got to put the work in. You have to change the way you deal with things. And I did. And it probably took another year after I stopped therapy, of using the tools and concentrating on doing that and working on myself to the point where, okay, now I'm all right. I'm okay. I know how to deal with this stuff. I know how to handle this thing. Mentally, psychologically, I know how to handle this a lot better. I'm not yelling at people anymore. I'm not yelling at my family anymore. It's rare if I actually do. And it's usually because I am so super frustrated with what's going on in my head that I have nowhere else to go. But it doesn't last long, not like before. It would be days. I'd be yelling at people for days. Even at work, yelling at people. And then I would go a month or two and everything would be fine. And all of a sudden it'd be like something would trigger and a week of screaming. Now it's, if I ever get to that point, it's not long. And I don't usually get to that point because I use the coping mechanisms. So, do I suffer from Meniere's? Yeah, I do. I just learned how to handle it better. And I recommend, I always recommend therapy to everybody. Everybody with chronic illness that, can't work anymore, can't do this, can't do that. It's a big life change. Your life is changing, so, in a lifestyle change. So, yeah, I recommend therapy a lot to people because you need help handling this stuff. I don't care what anybody says. You do. And if I didn't get the help, it would have ruined my life. And, that's why I got the help that I needed. So, am I always happy? Generally. Do I have my moments? Oh, yeah, I do. But I just handle it better now through therapy. Now, I can't exactly tell you, what therapist told me to do and this and that, because just like Meniere's disease, depression and anxiety, everybody's different. And that's the kind of tricky thing. And it's everybody's different. Like Lexapro helps me. I take Lexapro every night with this antidepressant, anti-anxiety med. I take that every night, and that helps me a lot. Well, some people can't take Lexapro. They need something different, like Paxil or there's a whole bunch of different ones. I can't really, I don't really know a lot about them. But they take like a Paxil or Trazodone, things like that. There are just a whole bunch of different ones, meds. But, it's not just meds. It's also therapy, and you have to combine them both. Now, I'm on a per needed basis now, which is great. I do get a phone call once in a while from my therapist saying, "Hey, is everything okay? Haven't heard from you in a while." I said, "Oh yeah, everything's fine." So she's like, "Okay, just check it," and that's it. It's like a 5-minute phone call, and it's maybe once every 6 months, maybe once a year. I think the last time I talked to her was a year ago, and that was just her calling, "Hey, everything okay over there?" "Yeah, we're all fine." But it's at as per need, which I haven't needed, because I've been able to, from what my therapist taught me, I've been able to cope a lot better. So, yeah, just so you know that I do suffer. I do have my days, okay? But I just learned to handle it differently so you could see a smile on my face. And let's face it, do you want to see this? "Hi, I'm Dave Juno, the Meniere's disease warrior. How are you today?" Or would you rather see, "Hi, it's Dave Juno, the Meniere's disease warrior. How you doing today?" Or, "Good morning, this is Dave Juno." Would you like to see that? The last one or the first one? I think a lot of people would like to see me smile. It's this. So, on that note, it's coming up in 10 minutes. Have a great day, everybody. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.